In this video, we are going to be learning all about what really happens to your body when you start lifting weights and the surprising science behind how something as simple as just going on a walk can help you process trauma, regulate your emotions, and finally just feel safe in your body and stress-free. When I first started lifting weights, I knew that I just needed something different for my mind to focus on. And I know that it sounds way easier said than done, especially when you're feeling really sad or anxious. All you want to do is hole up at home and lay on the couch all day. But getting up and getting your body active helps you process these types of emotions way better than sitting and wallowing in it. I didn't realize how much of myself I was actually healing by weight training, and how the quiet, simple act of going on walks has really been medicine for my nervous system. Not only that, but lifting weights also helped me become a faster runner. As most of you guys know, I absolutely love to run. And back in high school, when I was running cross country and track and field, my cross country coach recommended that I take a weight training class as one of my electives. And at first I really didn't want to, because I thought lifting weights as a girl would make me just bulky and look manly, but that's a whole other misconception that we're going to unpack in a future video. I was able to get my fastest mile time that year, and I also ended up winning first place in our district 5K race. But before we begin, in case any of you guys were not already aware, I am not a doctor. I'm also not a neuroscientist or anything close to either of those things. I am just a girl who loves to learn and help other people learn and grow, and I'm here to teach you guys how to be fit and happy. And I just want to show you all that it is possible to change your life by making these simple, positive changes. And I also love going down a good internet rabbit hole. So I combined all of these things, did some research, and decided to make this educational video for your viewing pleasure. I learned quite a bit throughout the process of making this video, so I hope that you do too. But keeping all of that in mind, let's get into the video. So first off, what even is strength training? That's a great question, because it can also be referred to as weight training, resistance training, or muscular training. The main definition, though, is just any physical movement where you're either using equipment or your body weight to build muscle, strength, and endurance. And there are 5 ways to go about this. Most people gravitate towards one of the first 3, and the last 2 that I'm going to mention are generally practiced by more experienced athletes. So first you have muscular hypertrophy. This is where you use moderate to heavy weights for the specific goal of growing your muscles. And then you have muscular endurance. This is where you typically use lighter weights or even your body weight for the goal of allowing your muscles to sustain exercise for a longer period of time. Then there is circuit training, which is more of a full body exercise with very little rest throughout, and is generally intended for adding more cardio into your routine. Number 4 is maximum muscular strength, which is where you max out how much you can lift by doing very low reps combined with very heavy weight. And lastly is explosive power, which combines power and speed, and it's generally something that trained athletes do in order to improve in their sport. There are lots of different types of equipment that you can use when you're strength training, and you can learn more about those in my beginner gym tour video, along with my video about lifting weights. But for now, let's just get into the good stuff, which is what actually happens to your body when you start strength training. Aside from the obvious side effect of building muscle, lifting weights can also change your body composition. I mentioned this in a previous post as well, but this is where your body loses fat and gains muscle at the same time. When you have more muscle, this means that your body can actually burn more calories when you're not working out, and it can even continue to burn calories after your workout is over. And this nice little bonus is known as the afterburn effect, and honestly, I consider it kind of a cheat code. And along with giving you a high self-esteem and reducing anxiety, there is also a pretty significant link between women who strength train and a positive body image. And I would bet that it's the same for men as well. Something I love to do when I'm lifting weights is watching myself in the mirror, and not only because I think I'm adorable, but also because I really like seeing my muscles contract. However, something that you can't see is that you're also putting good stress on your bones as well, which means they're getting stronger too. And as we get older, our bone mass, just like our muscle mass, naturally starts to decrease. So it's important to try and reduce the risk of things like osteoporosis, fractures, and just injuries in general. What you might not know is that strength training can even increase your flexibility too. People with weaker muscles also tend to have a lower range of motion. And in one of the articles I found, there was a review stating that strength training is actually just as effective as stretching when it comes to increasing your range of motion. And this is important because obviously the ability to move your limbs around their relevant joints helps with performing all of those normal daily activities. Another study I found actually said that people who do just 30 to 60 minutes of weight training a week on all major muscle groups had a 10 to 20% lower risk of dying prematurely, especially from things like cancer, diabetes, and heart disease compared to people who do no strength training at all. This is because you are increasing your metabolism, which helps you maintain a healthy weight, which helps you improve your blood pressure, thus lowering your mortality risk. Resistance training not only strengthens the muscles throughout your body, but it has great benefits on the muscles in your brain as well. And one of the reasons that you're lowering your risk of cardiovascular disease is because your brain's ability to process glucose is improving when you strength train. It can even decrease your insulin levels for up to 24 hours. So yeah, strength training is not just for the gym bros with their grunty deadlifts. It's literally for everyone, including you, your grandma, your anxious inner child, and even your dog, probably, if we really set our minds to it. It helps you burn more calories when you're doing nothing. It strengthens your bones so you don't crumble when you trip over a curb, and it even keeps your brain sharp enough to remember that the remote that you've been looking for hours has been in your hand the whole time. Plus, 30 to 60 minutes a week is not very much, in my opinion, in exchange for reducing your risk of dying early. So whether you're lifting dumbbells or just your own body weight, congratulations, you are already on your way to becoming a stronger version of yourself. Now, let's get into the science of walking and how that can heal your nervous system. When I was researching this topic, I learned a new term that I want to share with you guys. And that term is Shinrin-yoku. And it basically means forest bathing. It's all about the concept of spending time in nature. And the idea came from Japan in 1982. And now it's something that is being practiced by people all over the world. I read about a lot of different studies while preparing this video, and the details of this one might have been the most eye-opening for me. I'm gonna summarize it and try to refrain from boring you with all of the technicalities, but I did include the links to all of the articles that the information from this entire video is from, and they're in the description below. So if you want to get extra nerdy and really dive deep on some of these studies, feel free to check those out. In this one though, scientists basically found that when you spend time in nature, it is proven that you feel less angry, tired, and sad. Your blood pressure goes down, your stress hormones like cortisol decrease, and all of this makes your immune system get stronger. Now you might be thinking, this is so obvious. Why do scientists even care, or why should I even care? Well, that is because the scientists who ran this study wanted to help big groups of people stay healthy rather than just one person at a time. Doing simple things like walking in nature can help entire communities feel better over time, even if the change is small for each individual person. And as I was reading this, I realized that this is probably a huge contributing factor to why Japan is one of the world's blue zones. People there are living significantly healthier and longer lives, often reaching 100 years old. And it's because of factors just like this. They measured people's heart rates using something called HRV, or heart rate variability, and this measures people's heart rates when they're relaxed or when they get excited. One part of HRV shows how calm and relaxed you are. This is the high frequency part. And another part shows how stressed or alert you are. And this is the low frequency part. The scientists checked how walking in forests helped 485 young men feel more relaxed compared to walking in the city. So they picked 57 forests and 57 city spots all across Japan, and the city places were busy areas like downtown or near train stations. Some of these men went to the forest and some went to a busy city street, and then the next day they would switch places. And they also made sure that no one drank soda or coffee and that everyone stayed as calm as possible so that the results would be clear. They also tossed out any super weird heart numbers to keep it fair and accurate throughout the study. Then the scientists made these charts called histograms to show how everyone's heart rates reacted in each place, whether they were stressed or relaxed. And they looked at the changes between walking in the forest and walking in the city. And then they did a permutation test just to double check if the forest and city results were actually different or if they just happened to show up that way by chance. Then they scrambled all of this data literally 5,000 times, like a big card shuffle, just to make extra sure. And then they compared this walking test to an old test that they had done before, where people just sat and looked at a forest instead of walking in one. And they also checked to see if people felt more calm or stressed in each one of these situations. So there was a lot of testing going on here. They ended up finding that people had more relaxing heart patterns when they walked in the forest, and that their stress signals in their heart patterns went down. And they also found that 2 out of 3 people felt calmer in the forest rather than in the city. And 65 to 67% might not sound like that much. At least that's what I thought when I read this. So it's also worth noting that not everybody loves to be in nature, and that is okay. Some people love forests, and that's called biophilia. That's definitely what I have. But other people feel scared or uncomfortable in nature, and that's called biophobia. The study also had limits because only young men in Japan were tested, but I would honestly guess that this study would have similar effects on women or older people or people in other countries. But apparently scientists still have yet to actually prove that. The main takeaway though is that nature mostly makes people feel calm, even when they just look at it. So do with that information what you please. When it comes to the general activity of walking though, the Journal of Alzheimer's Disease actually did brain scans of over 10,000 people, and it found that something as little as taking a few thousand steps a day, like less than 4,000, actually could be associated with reducing cognitive decline, which often leads to dementia. It also is a very effective regulation strategy, meaning that it's one of the most accessible and low impact ways to cope with things like stress, anxiety, and brain fog. Putting one foot in front of the other literally stimulates a whole bunch of regions in your brain that help you with emotional processing. In my video where I shared my story with you guys, I mentioned going through a process in therapy called EMDR. This helps you process trauma and regulate your emotions through something called bilateral stimulation. And this is where both hemispheres of your brain are engaging in a rhythmic, altering motion. And this is also exactly what happens when you walk. Walking gives your body a sense of control, rhythm, and safety, and these are things that trauma often disrupts. For trauma survivors who feel disconnected from their bodies or the present moment, walking can help reintroduce that awareness and help them feel grounded. So it's not even just exercise. It's a way for your brain and your body to work together to recover from pain. Because when our stress levels are high, our fight or flight reactions kick in. And going on a walk can act as a gentle reset, helping your body get back into a more restful state. You're also releasing endorphins and serotonin, which is something that I'm sure a lot of us could use more of every once in a while. Some of you guys might know how much I love plants, so I wanted to share this study with you too. Scientists also tested if real plants or just pictures of plants made people feel calm. And while both of them did make people feel relaxed, real plants actually had physiological benefits for brain activity. So I've been saying this for a while now, but it is proven that plants really do help you just chill out. So if you ever feel sad or tired or your brain just feels all jumbled, maybe try going out and buying a plant. And then take yourself on a little walk outside, because trees, flowers, sunshine, and fresh air are really like magic for your brain and your heart. Trees especially give off something like a smell or a mist that when we breathe in, it helps us feel less stressed and makes our immune system stronger. And even people who are healing after surgery get well and feel better faster if they can see trees and nature out of the window instead of just looking at a plain wall. They also even use less medicine and end up leaving the hospital sooner. And I also read that nature can help kids with special needs too. Some research shows that kids who have ADHD do better when they spend time in green spaces. And kids who live near nice green spaces tend to have better development, fewer emotional and behavior problems. And for older kids, like 12 and 13-year-olds, the quality of the green space actually matters more than just how much of it there is. And finally, being around all of this green stuff can help people sleep better too, because it can be quieter, more peaceful, and the air around you just feels better. Okay, I know that was a lot of information, so thank you so much for staying till the end of this video. And if you learned something new today, maybe give this video a thumbs up or leave a comment below and tell me what you found most interesting. I know that I learned a lot, so I hope that you did too. And just know that improving your brain in all of these ways is not only responsible for memory and emotional control, but it also helps you process information and problem solve better too, which means that exercise really does make you smarter. So I think I might actually be onto something with this channel. And in my next video, we're calling out all of the gym myths that have been messing with women's minds for way too long. From bulking and cutting to obsessing with the number on the scale, I'm going to be breaking it down and giving you a healthier, smarter, and way more empowering way to get fit. So hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. Body composition. Like, okay.